What does it actually feel like to be a venture capitalist? Nobody who has actually done the job can describe it in one sentence, which should tell you something. The closest anyone has come is a former partner who called it a quantum state of simultaneously succeeding and failing, held in your body for years at a time, with no resolution. He meant it literally. The average venture fund runs for more than a decade. You will not know if the decisions you are making this year were correct until you are in your 40s. Most venture capital funds lose money. Of the top 100 funds in 2015, only a small fraction consistently outperform. Carry, the profit share that makes everyone want to be a GP, pays out 7 to 10 years after the fund closes, and for most funds, it never pays out at all. Global VC invested $314 billion in 2024. $1 in $3 went to AI, and most of that capital is sitting in companies whose outcomes will not be known for another decade. You are paid in options that vest in 10 years on decisions you make today with incomplete information about a market that does not yet exist. You start at 22, cold emailing founders from a desk your firm pays $3,400 a month for you to sit at. You end, if you make it, at 55, deciding whether to raise one more fund or walk away from the most powerful seat in technology finance. Here's what the latter actually looks like. Level 1, the analyst. You are 22 years old. You graduated from a target school, not the top one, but one the HR filter lets through, and you landed a pre-MBA analyst seat at a mid-stage venture firm in San Francisco. It is your first week. Your base salary is $120,000. Your bonus target is $30,000. Your total comp, on paper, is in the top 10% of your graduating class, and you will not feel any of it because your rent in Soma is $3,400 a month, and you cannot cook. Your job is to source. That is the polite word for cold outreach. You send 40 LinkedIn messages a day to founders of Series A companies in 3 verticals the fund cares about. You track everything in Affinity. You write one-line summaries of 10 pitch decks a day for the Monday partner meeting. You do not attend the Monday partner meeting. You are allowed to attend the Wednesday midweek sync, where the principals talk and you take notes and try to have one opinion per meeting, which you deliver in about 11 words because any more is a performance. Here's what nobody tells you about the analyst role. You are not learning to invest. You are learning to appear at the edge of investing. The real decisions are being made in a room you will not enter for years, by 3 people who have each been wrong publicly for entire decades and have survived it because of one deal. You are a funnel. Your value to the fund is measured in the quality of companies you flag that eventually become investable, which typically takes 18 to 36 months to even measure. Your boss, at 42, is evaluating you on outcomes that will not exist until you are 25. Your friend Chris is a high school economics teacher in Sacramento. He graduated the same year as you from the same public high school. He has his single subject credential, plus a master's in curriculum, both paid for by the district over 4 years. He makes $68,400 a year, with step increases baked in, plus he is vested in CalSTRS, which will pay him a pension every month for the rest of his life based on his years of service and the average of his highest 3 years of salary. He works 185 contract days a year. He has summers off. He reads real books, not pitch decks. You two grew up on the same block, and you still text every Sunday night. Chris asks you once, early in year 1, what you actually do all day. You try to explain sourcing. He listens. Then he says, "So it's kind of like cold calling, but for rich people." You laugh. You also know that the laugh is a small concession, because the description is accurate, and accurate descriptions of this job make it sound less important than it is supposed to be. Level 2, the pre-MBA associate. You are 25. You have been promoted. Your title is now associate, which means your LinkedIn says associate, which means your parents finally understand the job. Your total comp is $185,000. You own 0% of the fund. You have no carry. You will not have carry at this level, and you have started to understand that the absence of carry is not a detail. It is the actual structure of venture capital. Here is the scale beat. Carried interest is 20% of the fund's profits, paid to the GP team after the fund returns all the capital its LPs committed. On a $250 million fund that exits at 3x, that is $500 million of gains, $100 million in carry, distributed among 3 to 6 partners. The analysts and associates see none of it. The principals see maybe 2 to 5% of the total carry pool, which, on the example above, is $2 to $5 million vested over 7 to 10 years. Half of venture funds do not return 3x. A substantial portion do not return their capital at all. The partners who do make carry made it because they were at the right firm at the right fund cycle, and they backed one winner that paid for everything else. At the associate level, the work changes. You are now doing diligence. You read every pitch deck in your assigned sector. You talk to 3 founders a week on Zoom for 30 minutes each. You build a simple financial model in Excel for each one that gets past the initial screen, which is maybe 1 in 20. You present to the principal who covers your space. She asks you 4 questions, 3 of which you cannot answer. And this is not because you are stupid. It is because the questions are designed to surface what you missed, and you missed all of it. Because you have been in the industry for 3 years, and the principal has been in it for 11. Here's the second insider truth. Venture capital is one of the only careers where your technical skills plateau almost immediately, and your compensation depends entirely on pattern recognition, which is uncorrelated with effort and cannot be practiced in any direct way. You can read 5,000 pitch decks and not be better than a partner who has read 500. Pattern recognition is built not by reading decks, but by watching 50 companies succeed or fail while you were paying attention, which is a timeline no amount of hustle can compress. You go to your first fund-wide Monday meeting at this level. A senior partner presents a deal. You have seen the company. You had an opinion. Your opinion was wrong, and it would have been wrong in an expensive way. You do not say so. You learn, at 25, that the most important skill in venture capital is knowing which of your opinions to say out loud and which to let die silently in your own head. Chris got married that spring. You flew out for the wedding. He married a woman named Emma, a nurse at Sutter Health. They bought a 3-bedroom in Elk Grove for $540,000 with 10% down. Their combined take-home is around $145,000 after taxes. Their mortgage is $2,900. They host you for dinner on the Sunday after the wedding. Chris pours you a beer and says, "So how's the job?" You say it's good. You mean it. You also notice, walking back to your Airbnb later, that you are 25 and you have no idea whether anything you have done in the past 3 years mattered. Chris's students know whether his class mattered by June. Level 3. The post-MBA Senior Associate. You are 29. You left the fund for 2 years, got an MBA from a top 7 program, took on $180,000 in debt, and came back to the same firm as a senior associate. This is the first partner track seat on the ladder, and the difference between pre-MBA associate and post-MBA senior associate is that the fund is now evaluating whether you can eventually lead deals, not just support them. Your base salary is $225,000. Your bonus target is $75,000. You have received your first carry allocation. It is 0.4% of the current fund, Fund 6, which is a $400 million vehicle. If Fund 6 returns 3x, your carry is theoretically worth roughly $640,000 before taxes, paid out over 7 to 10 years as companies exit, net of any clawback. If Fund 6 returns 1x, which is more common than anyone says in public, your carry is worth 0. You own what is functionally a deep out-of-the-money call option on your own firm, with a 10-year expiration, and you are told to think of it as worth nothing until it is worth something. At this level, you start to lead deals. You source a fintech company in Miami. You spend 6 weeks on diligence. You build the financial model. You write the investment memo. You present to the Monday partner meeting. 2 partners argue for it. 1 argues against. The founder is first-generation Cuban-American, 34 years old, 6 years out of Stripe. The company is growing 18% month over month. You believe in it. You have talked to the founder 7 times. You have met his wife. You have met his co-founder. You have formed a view. The firm passes. The senior partner who argued against it said the round was too early, the founder was too green, and the TAM was too niche. You lose. You walk back to your desk, and you email the founder the no. You write the email carefully, because in 3 years you may want him to take your call at another fund. He replies one line. Appreciate the honest process. 18 months later, the company raises a Series C at a $900 million post. Your firm could have led the A at a $40 million post and owned 15%. Your carry on that one deal would have been worth, on a successful exit, somewhere between $400,000 and $1.2 million to you personally. The third insider truth. Every VC over 40 is carrying a list of companies they could have owned and didn't. The list never gets shorter. It gets longer with every fund cycle. The best partners learn to metabolize it and move on. The average partners brood on it in private and overreach on the next deal to make up for it, which produces a worse loss, which they then brood on in private. This is the part of the job that is never in the pitch. Level 4. The principal. You are 33. You have made principal. Your base is $275,000 and your bonus is $125,000. And your total cash is $400,000, which is less than you would have made at this stage in private equity, but close to double what a comparable senior associate makes at a hedge fund in a bad year. Your carry in Fund 7 is 1.5%. The fund is $600 million. If it returns 3x, your carry before taxes is roughly $3.6 million over 7 to 10 years. You sit on 2 portfolio company boards. You are the non-voting observer on one and the full board member on the other. The board member seat is the first time in your career you have been in a room where you can legally affect the outcome of a company with your vote. The first board meeting is terrifying. You prepare for 12 hours. You say 3 things. One of them is the thing the founder wanted you to say, which you did not know going in. And this is how you learn that board seats are 40% strategy and 60% emotional support for a founder who is performing for the room. Here's the 4th insider truth. VCs don't make companies, founders do. Your job as a board member is to be competent enough not to break the thing that is already working, and supportive enough that the founder keeps telling you the truth when it stops working. The best VCs accept this relationship. The worst ones try to reverse it and spend their careers explaining why the founder should have listened to them. Some of them will tell you that's just pattern recognition at work. Some of them will tell you that's ego dressed up as pattern recognition. You will not know which camp you're in until about year 12. At 33, you are also traveling constantly. You fly to New York every 6 weeks. You fly to Austin twice a year. You fly to London, Singapore, Tel Aviv, Bangalore, depending on your sector. Your calendar is 70% meetings and 30% travel. The meetings are 50% founders pitching you, 20% existing portfolio check-ins, 20% internal firm stuff, and 10% other VCs, which is a specific category because other VCs are simultaneously your competition and your co-investors. And the relationship between those 2 modes is the single most complicated social dynamic in the industry. You date in this period. You date seriously. You meet someone in the spring of your first year as principal. She works in product at a mid-sized SaaS company. You are gone every other week. You answer emails at 11 p.m. You take a founder's call on a Saturday morning. She is patient about this for about 9 months, and then she is honest with you, which is one of the gifts of adults. And she tells you that she does not want to be with someone whose primary relationship is with an asset class. You take this badly for about 3 weeks, and then you take it accurately, which is the harder thing. Chris and Emma have their first kid that year, a boy. You fly out for the christening. You hold the baby for 40 seconds while Chris takes a photo. You hand him back. You fly back to San Francisco that night because a founder's Series B closes Monday, and you have notes. Level 5. The junior partner. You are 39. You are now a junior partner. Your base is $400,000, and your bonus is between $200,000 and $400,000, depending on the year. Your carry in Fund 8 is 4%. The fund is $900 million. If it returns 3x, Your carry is around $14.4 million over 7 to 10 years. If it returns 2x, it is around $7.2 million. If it returns 1x, it is 0. The junior partner role is the hardest seat in venture capital. You have full deal leadership authority, which means you are writing $15 to $40 million checks as the lead, which means you own the outcome of those companies in the internal narrative of the firm. You are also expected to be sourcing at the partner level, which means you need founders to come to you directly. This requires brand. You do not have brand yet. You are building brand by tweeting thoughtfully, speaking at 2 conferences a year, writing a newsletter that 14,000 people read, and shaking the hand of every founder in your sector at every event you can plausibly be at. You are also expected to help raise the next fund, which is the thing that will either confirm or end your partnership track. Here is the scale beat for level 5. Raising a new fund takes, on average, 15.6 months in 2025, up 60% since 2022. You will meet with 80 to 120 LPs during that period. You will be told no by the majority of them. You will customize a deck 40 times. You will do dinners in 8 cities. Your personal GP commit to the new fund is 2.5% of its size, which on a $1.2 billion target is $30 million, of which your share as a junior partner is $3 million, which you do not have in cash because your carry has not paid out yet. So you take a bank loan against future carry at a personal cost of about $180,000 a year in interest, and the math of your own wealth becomes something that looks like a hedge fund balance sheet. You do not talk about this at dinner parties. You do not tell your parents. You do not tell Chris. You carry it mostly alone, which is the cost of being in the room where capital is allocated. The other people in the room are carrying similar math. None of you discuss it directly. The 5th insider truth. Every venture capitalist above principal level has a balance sheet that is 80% illiquid, 40% leveraged, and entirely dependent on the performance of decisions they made 5 to 10 years ago. You are a founder of a single asset company that is yourself, and that company pays you in options that vest in a decade, and you are told this is the good life. Level 6. The general partner. You are 45. You have made GP. Your base is $800,000. Your share of the management fee pool after firm expenses lands you near $1.2 million a year in cash comp. Your carry in the current fund is 8%, which on a $1.8 billion vehicle at 3x returns is roughly $57.6 million over the fund's life. You have also, quietly, received 3 distributions from Fund 7 and 1 from Fund 8, totaling $4.9 million in actual realized cash, net of taxes, which is the first time in your career that the words "my carry" and "money I have" meant the same thing. Your day at this level is almost entirely other people. You do not build models. You have not built a model in 6 years. You do not write memos. An associate writes them. You read them, you ask 3 questions, you make a call. You sit on 6 boards. You spend 60% of your calendar in pitch meetings, board meetings, LP meetings, and partner meetings. You spend 20% in what the firm calls relationship maintenance, which is a category that would not have existed at any previous level, and which you now understand is the actual job. The remaining 20% is travel. You have a personal assistant. You have a driver for LP dinners. You fly business class by default. You own a home in Mill Valley that you bought for $3.4 million in 2023 and is now worth $4.2 million, which is an asset you look at once a quarter and mostly forget about. You also have $11 million in liquid securities, $4 million in cash, $22 million in illiquid private company stock that may or may not be worth anything, and a tax situation that requires a 3-person team to manage. None of this changes the fact that your calendar is the same calendar it was at 39, with slightly more control over which meetings go on it. The 6th insider truth. Nobody at this level is doing it for the money anymore, and nobody at this level would tell you that out loud, because admitting it is a threat to the entire compensation architecture of the industry. The partners who stay past 50 stay for the hit of backing the next one. The money arrived somewhere between 38 and 44, and after that it stopped being the thing. What replaced it is the specific social position of being the person founders call first, which is a kind of power you cannot buy and cannot fake, and which most people outside this industry will never understand. You are now the adult in the room. The weight of that is its own currency. Chris's oldest is 11 now. He is in Chris's 6th period econ class, which is the kind of coincidence Chris finds mildly amusing and mostly manages with professional distance. Chris sends you a photo from a Sunday hike with the kids. You are in Zurich that weekend for an LP meeting at a family office in the old town. You text back, "Looks amazing, man." You mean it. You also do not tell him where you are. Level 7. The managing partner, winding down. You are 55. You are a managing partner now, one of 3 running a $3.2 billion platform that spans an early-stage fund, a growth fund, and a late-stage opportunities vehicle. Your cumulative realized carry across all funds is $47 million, of which you have kept roughly $26 million after taxes. Your household net worth is somewhere between $38 and $52 million, depending on how you mark your illiquid holdings. You are, by any definition, wealthy. You have been wealthy for about 12 years. You have not felt wealthy at any point, because wealth at this level is not a feeling. It is a spreadsheet your accountant emails you on Sundays. The firm is now raising Fund 11. The question on the table, privately, is whether you will be on it. Managing partners stay on the next fund, or they roll off. Rolling off is the polite word for the partnership telling you that the economic structure of the firm would function better without you on the next vintage. You are not being pushed out. You know this because your partners have told you directly. You are being asked to decide. If you stay, you commit another decade. If you leave, you become an emeritus partner, keep a fraction of your existing carry positions, and step out of the daily arena that has been the shape of your adult life for 33 years. You go home that Friday. You make dinner. You do not cook often, but you do tonight. You sit at your own kitchen table with a glass of Napa Cabernet, and you do not open your laptop, which is the first time in 3 months that the laptop has been closed on a Friday night. Chris calls. He is retiring at the end of the school year, age 55, after 33 years in the classroom. His wife is going to keep working another 4 years as a nurse. They are planning to travel. He asks if you want to come to their retirement party. You say yes immediately. You mean it. You fly up that weekend. The party is in the backyard. Teachers, nurses, a priest, a couple of Chris's former students who are now adults. Chris introduces you to people as his oldest friend, not as a venture capitalist, as his oldest friend. You drink a cheap beer. You eat a plate of potato salad. A former student of Chris's, now a software engineer, asks you politely what you do, and Chris answers for you before you can. He says, "He picks startups for a living. He's been doing it a long time." The student nods and moves on. Later, when the party has thinned out and it is just you and Chris on the back patio, Chris leans back in his lawn chair and says, "You ever think about what you would do if you just stopped?" You think about it for a long time before you answer. "All the time," you say. Chris nods. He doesn't ask a follow-up. He takes a sip of his beer. He watches the sun go down over the neighbor's oak tree. You sit there together in the quiet for maybe 15 minutes. Neither of you says anything. He doesn't ask what you are going to decide. You don't tell him.